Hi, and welcome to Something to Talk About. I'm Linda McNamee, and for the next hour, we're going to learn how to lead like a girl. And of course, you probably figured out already from the introduction that it's an acronym, and you will find out momentarily what that means. We are not live this evening, so please do not call the studio line. However, you can always email me at talk@bcattv.org. I love to get email. As usual, I would like to thank the crew for today's episode. We have Chris Flaherty, who is a staff member here, making sure that everything runs smoothly, and us volunteers know what's going on. Speaking of volunteers, we have Jolie Atwood and Liz Gillespie, who have kindly given up their afternoon to come and help me out at BCAT, so thank you very much. And there is no daddy date night tonight, so we have substitute or surrogate daddy, who is Tad Stefanak, who's keeping an eye on the kids this afternoon. So thank you, Mr. Tad. Now, I think all my logistics are aside. I would love to, where is it? Welcome my wonderful guest for this evening, Carrie Weatherby, who is the Chief Membership Services Officer. I knew you, but from Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts. Well, welcome, Carrie. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So, as you can see from the table, I am very passionate about Girl Scouts, but I have to kind of wear my BCAT hat right now, so I will try really hard to let you do the talking. But before we actually get into the program itself, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, how you came to the Boston area, and what made you decide to get involved in the leadership of Girl Scouts?
Absolutely. So again, thank you for inviting me to be here. And I grew up in Walpole, Massachusetts, and I grew up as a Girl Scout.
Oh, that's not very far away.
So I now live in Melrose, and I have two daughters who are 10 and 12, and they are both Girl Scouts.
Excellent.
So Girl Scouts is very near and dear to my heart as well, and I've been involved with it since I was in first grade.
Okay.
So this really is an ideal role for me in terms of my background and what my daughters are currently involved in, and that's why I am involved in Girl Scouts.
Excellent.
Yes.
That was very short and sweet. I love it. So, how long have you been with the Girl Scout program, as a professional?
In this role for about 19 months.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So you're fairly new.
Fairly new.
Although
I'm still learning every day, yes.
Well, the program keeps changing too, which is really neat.
Yes.
So changing to the culture and the needs of today's society.
Exactly.
So how long has the Girl Scout program been in existence?
Sure. So Girl Scouts was founded in 1912, and our founder is named Juliette Gordon Lowe. And there's actually a great story around the founding of Girl Scouts. She grew up in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
And she had the opportunity to travel to England. And she met with
Robert Baden-Powell.
Exactly, the founder of Boy Scouts. And she got so excited about what she saw there, but also how she could make it for girls. Okay. And she actually called home to her cousin on the phone, which you can imagine in 1912 would be a big deal.
Probably, yeah.
Exactly. And she said, I've got something for the girls of Savannah, I've got something for the girls of the United States, I've got something for all the girls of the world. And
life-changing.
She was so excited. And so then she came back and she went into action and started the first Girl Scout troop with 18 girls and grew from there.
Now, I know this isn't on the cheat sheet, but in Britain, with the Boy Scouts, there's also the Girl Guides.
Yes.
Do you know why Juliette decided to branch away from that and start her own program? Or were Girl Guides in existence then?
I actually don't know the answer at the time. Okay. I do know that currently Girl Scouts is part of that World Association of Girls, and there are a total of 150 countries involved. So we are now part of that group.
The World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts.
Exactly.
Neat.
Yes.
So, you just answered my next question. Now, is there a lot of interaction with the Girl Scouts of the United States and this World Association?
Yes, there are definitely partnerships, international partnerships, and we also have a destination program and travel programs for our older girls where they will actually earn money, have fundraising opportunities to go overseas to some of our major Girl Scouts.
Is it like an official program, or is it just, hey girls, go to England? And
either. Troops can kind of plan their own thing, but we also have official programs. So there's definitely that connection internationally.
Because a long time ago, like before the internet was available to everyone.
Yes.
I actually wrote snail mail letters, and I ended up getting a job at a Girl Guide training center in southern England, and I worked there for 10 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool. I was like the token American.
That is really cool.
But it was like there wasn't an official program.
Yes.
And I showed up, and they're like, so what do you want to do?
Maybe you started it.
So I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it, but it was a really, really amazing experience.
Yes.
And, people's idea of what an American was like,
Yes.
I didn't quite fit that role. But there were girls from all over the world there. I met guides from South Africa, from Norway, from all over
Wow.
the UK. And it was funny, I had to actually translate English for the Norwegian because she couldn't understand the British accent. So, anyway, okay,
That's
I digress.
incredible. But those are the kind of experiences we want our girls to have. Absolutely. Life-changing.
Yeah, I would love to bring my troop over there, but it's like, okay, how am I going to bring half a dozen girls or a dozen girls?
We actually just had a
Internationally.
troop in Medford that traveled internationally this past summer, and I haven't seen them since they came back. But
Where were they going?
They had a whole itinerary mapped out. I believe England, France, and Spain.
Wow.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So
I wasn't sure if they were going to go to the center in Switzerland.
that is a very popular destination. I don't think they had time for it on this trip, but that is a wonderful place to visit.
Okay. I digress. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
that's okay.
So we've mentioned that the Girl Scout program has been around since 1912.
Yes.
How has it changed? I mean, even now, looking at my daughter going through it, it seems
Right.
to have changed since I was a brownie.
Absolutely.
How does it change, and how do you guys figure out what the changes are?
So I think Girl Scouts is known for always keeping up with the times. At the same time, we do value our cherished traditions, our Girl Scout songs, our promise and law, our flag ceremony. So it's a mix of the things that we do remember growing up as Girl Scouts,
Okay.
or even the previous generation.
On my
and then
honor.
exactly, and then updating the programs to keep current. And I actually wanted to share an example of how we've evolved, and it's around our Gold Award. So
Yeah, I'm
after-
going to have to start learning about that
Yes.
soon.
So after Juliet founded Girl Scouts, a few years later, she started the Golden Eagle of Merit Award, and it's evolved so that now it's Gold Award.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed reading about what the original requirements were for the award, and this kind of shows the evolution of the award. So
Okay.
back in 1916, in order to earn the award, the girl had to be able to stop a runaway horse, have legible
Yeah, that's
handwriting,
going to happen now.
how to clean fish and milk a cow, how to sew by hand and by machine, be able to build a shack suitable for 3 occupants, and be able to swim 50 yards in clothes, skirt and boots on your way to save someone who's drowning.
Wow.
So we've evolved since then.
Yeah,
it's
'cause
modernized.
I don't
and now,
think I'd be qualified
exactly.
to catch a runaway horse.
Exactly, but that was important at the time, right?
True.
And so now the requirements are around career exploration, leadership, and community service.
Okay.
Yes.
Because there's one thing that I'm struggling with as a leader, and I
Okay.
know this is not on the cheat sheet,
That's
so
okay.
if you,
Yep.
we can skip it. But what exactly is a take action project? What are the requirements
Yep.
to either make it? I don't know if a take action award is its own thing or if it is involved in the gold award
So
project.
I can
Yeah,
walk
I'm
you through
making
that.
you go through all
That's
these
okay. I want to make sure I give you the
because
correct
it's not
information.
just a community
Right.
service project; it's a
Right.
whole lot more.
So the whole concept of the programming and earning the badges and everything with the girls, it's about progression.
Okay.
So you start with your bronze award,
Okay.
and those are for juniors. And I know
Okay.
you have a junior.
I got to start looking at
And
that.
that's an award that you earn as a troop.
Okay.
Okay, and then silver awards are earned by cadets, which is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Okay.
And that can either be earned individually or as a troop.
Oh, okay.
And then the gold award is only open to girls in high school.
Okay.
And it's the most prestigious award for Girl Scouts and Girl
Okay.
Scouting. And the idea in all 3 of those cases, so again, you're either working collaboratively in a troop or independently as you get older, is you identify the root cause of an issue that's meaningful to the girl.
Okay.
And that becomes increasingly important as the girl gets older when she's taking on her Gold Award project. The projects are very personal. And we can talk more about some examples, but it's something that either the girl has personally experienced or she really sees in her hometown community. Like a girl in Burlington would say, I really think my community could benefit from this. So they're not overly prescriptive. They get to choose the issue that's important to them.
Okay.
They identify the root cause of an issue. They have to do some research. They have to go out and talk to people.
Okay.
They have to ensure that somebody else isn't already tackling that issue, that it's something that's really needed. They create a plan. Then they put together a plan and gather feedback. And we do have an advisory committee. We have a Gold Award advisory committee for the older girls. The younger girls would primarily be working with their troop leader. And we have training and support around that. But as they get older, we do have Gold Award Girl Scout mentors that can help them through the process. And then they actually carry out the plan. And one of the key things with Girl Scout Hire Awards, that's what we call them, is that the project has to be sustainable. Meaning that after the girl, especially as they get older, with bronze it's suggested but not required, with silver and gold it definitely needs to be sustainable. And the girl has to figure out, okay, after I've graduated from high school, how is this project going to continue on after me? And that's a big part of the philosophy behind it. So you're improving the world and it's not just a temporary fix.
What if it's something like, for example, we have a community garden here in Burlington. And it was a scout project, I don't know the full details, of putting a nice fence, critter-proof fence, around the whole garden. Now, the garden continues every year and the fence isn't going anywhere. Would that be considered sustainable, or is it more of a one-time thing that something else has to be?
So in that particular case, I would want to know more about the specifics, but there would have to be something around somebody, whether the girl connected with another group in town to agree to maintain that fence over time. I know of a girl who created some hiking trails and some signage similar. And she knew that she was going off to college. She knew she wasn't going to be able to come by as often as she would like to clear the trail and make sure the signs look good. So she actually identified some other people in town, I think a hiking group, who formally agreed to take on the maintenance of that. Yes.
So that has to have that formal...
Exactly. Yes.
Now, if that group ends up not doing it, do they take her gold award away?
I don't know of any cases. I think most people, if they're involved in that, they would want to keep it going. So.
Now, is a Take Action project pretty much the same thing where it has to be sustainable?
Yes. There's a little bit more flexibility with the younger girls, where they're kind of learning that whole process. But then as you move into silver and gold, yes. Yes.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait. So you mentioned like juniors and cadets and seniors. What is the hierarchy, or the ranks of Girl Scouts?
Great question. So it has changed a little bit over the years. When Girl Scouts first was founded in 1912, there was only one level for girls ages 10 to 17. And over time, again, keeping up with the times and understanding that girls develop differently at different ages, what's developmentally appropriate, exactly. Since 2011.
Because you really don't want a 10-year-old trying to stop a runaway horse.
Exactly. They can maybe milk a cow, but yeah.
Exactly.
So we have our daisies, and Juliet Gordon-Lowe's nickname growing up was Daisy, so that's where that came from.
When did daisies start?
Daisies?
Was it 1980s? Or is it newer than that?
I don't know the exact date. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
But it is relatively new compared to some of the other levels. It wasn't around when I was a brownie, for example. So daisies are K to 1, and then we have brownies, grades 2 to 3. Then we have juniors, grades 4 to 5. Cadets, grades 6 to 8. Seniors, 9 to 10. And ambassadors, 11 and 12.
Okay, and then usually 12th grade is when they turn 18, and then they can continue as an adult?
They can. They can actually get a lifetime membership, and it's it's at a discounted rate because we understand that, young women going off to college, but it's a way to keep them engaged. And we actually have a partnership that I think we're still in the process of rolling out with LinkedIn, where girls can identify that they participated in Girl Scouts or actually have their gold awards. And there's some real benefits to that. If you enter the military, you enter one rank above everyone else if you have your gold award, for example.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and college admissions officers say that they do take that into consideration when they're considering admission to colleges. So it's a pretty important feature. I think it's been said it's probably the only thing from your childhood that you would keep on your resume after childhood.
Okay.
Unlike some other things. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I know when I was growing up, as well as being a younger adult, a lot of people were not familiar with the Gold Award. Everybody knows what an Eagle Scout is, but not a lot of people know about the Gold Award. So if you see it on a resume, you may or may not know what it means. Are there opportunities to educate the community? And is the Girl Scouts, either Eastern Mass or nationally, working at raising awareness to what this is?
Absolutely. We are absolutely working on that. And
it's hard.
Yeah, and
I've read some of the requirements.
You really are spot on that I think the Gold Award is one of our unintentionally best kept secrets. So we have this wonderful program, and it's about getting the word out. So both from a national level and locally, we're really trying to make sure people know that it exists and how wonderful it is and the benefits of participating in the program. So
especially if the military is willing to,
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Cool. Now, I know we're going to be talking about a little later on some of the newer badges,
Yes.
but just a few short years ago when my daughter was a daisy, it was the petals and the leaves and that was it. But now daisies can actually start earning. Now, let's back up to, for audience members who may not be familiar.
Yes.
The daisy program is pretty much designed, or my understanding is, to understand the Girl Scout law, the Girl Scout promise, and what each element in the law means.
Right.
And then the leaves are building on financial literacy, because that's really important in today's society,
Right.
where the average person has like $10,000 of credit card debt,
Right.
or more than that, whatever. But now they can earn topical, like robotics.
Yes.
What was the mindset behind that, or the decision-making process behind that?
So we do surveys of all of our parents and family and friend network. We do surveys of all of our girls. We survey our troop leaders. We do survey because it's
gathering data.
That voice is so important to us, and that goes alongside with. We actually have a Girl Scout Research Institute. So there's two different pieces there. It's actually hearing from the parents, family members, and girls themselves about what they want, what's important to them, changes they'd like to see in the program, and then also saying through research, does this make sense? Is this going to be beneficial for the girls? So obviously feedback is welcome, but if
is it a fad or is it a trend?
Exactly. And then between those two pieces, that helps us to reshape our programs and hopefully continue to be relevant and always be evolving and not continue to offer the same programming
which
that we
goes
did.
into how the program has changed since 1912 because we no longer have to catch runaway horses.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with that, and I probably will be. So what are some of the, somewhere in here I have a question about new badges that will be rolling out this year.
Yes.
So last year, was it last year or 2 years ago, with all the robotics badges and new camping badges and outdoor skill badges. So what's coming up?
So we're really excited. And I'm going to tell you by level what we're going to be offering next year. So for girls in grades K through 5, we actually are going to have
daisies, brownies, and juniors.
Exactly.
Got it.
You're good. You definitely have the levels down. So we have a badge in cybersecurity.
Ooh.
And it's going to introduce girls to age-appropriate online safety and privacy principles and information about how the internet works and how to spot and investigate cybercrime.
Okay. Now, is this a requirement, or is it just a, hey, you can earn a badge in,
it's an option.
Science, or you can earn it in
And our programming is always going to be girl-led, and the troops can decide, what area they're going to focus on.
Okay. Cool.
And then we're going to have a badge for that same age group on environmental stewardship.
What does that mean?
So it's our first ever badge series focused on environmental advocacy, where girls learn how to respect the outdoors and take action to basically protect our environment. So we're really excited about that.
Okay.
Then we're going to have
I'm going to check that one out.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to check all of them out, but
we also are going to have a space science badge, which enables girls to channel their inner NASA scientist.
Wow, because my Girl Scout troop is actually going to a Lowell Spinners game this year, and the theme is NASA.
That
it's
is
NASA night,
very
so can
cool.
we I got to check that one out.
Yeah, definitely.
When are these coming out? Like October 1st?
So they are coming out, I don't know the exact date, but they're coming out this next membership year, which starts October 1st.
Okay.
So, you know, if not exactly October 1st,
Okay.
should be shortly
I
thereafter.
might need to
rolling
retrofit
out.
some of this stuff.
Exactly.
Anyway.
And then finally for that age range is mechanical engineering. And they
Wow.
will actually be designing paddle boats, cranes, balloon-powered cars, learning about potential and kinetic energy, jet
That is so
propulsion.
cool.
So it's super cool.
Wow, yeah.
And again, for that age range, it's perfect. And then for our older girls, we're going to have a college knowledge badge.
Okay.
And it's dedicated completely to college exploration, and it really helps them figure out and navigate the financial aid process,
Okay.
the,
Even the application process is getting hard.
exactly. And this was in response, you were asking me about, you know, how do you add things to the program.
Okay.
Our girls said in our surveys that they really needed this support, so that's where that came from.
Okay.
And
And applying to colleges, I mean, I'm just thinking here going, well, yeah, once you get in a college, is there anything that transfers over? But it could still fit for like job applications as well.
absolutely.
Or
Absolutely.
a mortgage on a house because,
Right.
you know, applying for financial aids, applying for loans and grants.
And it's that financial literacy piece that you're talking about. Absolutely.
Okay.
And then we have environmental stewardship for the older girls, and we also have robotics
Ooh, no,
for
wait,
the
I
older
thought-
girls. We had them for K to 5, and now we're adding them
'cause
for
I'm
the
like,
older
we
girls.
earned our robotics
Yep.
badge.
And then we're really excited. We have a strong partnership with Raytheon. They've been supporting our Think Like a Programmer
Okay. I was
program.
wondering if the mechanical engineering was going to overlap with Raytheon at all.
Yes, and we're going to have our first ever cyber challenge in 2019. So
Ooh.
stay tuned for that.
Can you tell me a little bit more, or is that
It's
then
still
you'd have to kill me? or
it's still
something?
top secret, but I will
Okay.
definitely give you a call.
Cyber challenge.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what we have coming, and we're really excited about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's how many badges? 5?
Yes. One,
For
two,
each
three,
level?
4. So there's 3 plus the Think Like a Programmer for the older girls.
Okay.
And then there's 4 for the older,
Okay.
younger girls.
And
Yep.
there were pretty much the same number. Was it last year or 2 years ago when all those came out?
Exactly.
So is the plan to continue rolling out new badges? And if so, are older badges going away? Are they going to morph into, you know, the old one's going to change?
At this point, I don't have
Okay.
a read on that.
Okay.
But you know, we're always evolving, so we'll be looking at that.
Because I'm looking at all this stuff going, I would love my kids to earn all this stuff because
Yep.
all this knowledge is important, but there's only so much you can accomplish in a troop meeting. And
Absolutely.
we were also talking earlier that there are so many opportunities for girls nowadays that the Girl Scout program pretty much needs to fight for somebody's, or compete, not fight, that's a bad word, but compete for a girl's extracurricular time.
Right. So you know, I have a daughter who's going into 7th grade, and she's a Girl Scout.
Okay.
And as they get older, they just have more and more activities that they're involved with.
Exactly.
In New England, the number one thing why a girl sometimes chooses something else besides Girl Scouts is sports. So it's about getting the message out to parents and to girls,
And to
two
girls.
different audiences,
True.
around the value of staying in Girl Scouts and how it's possible to continue to do that while still doing those other things, because my girls also play sports, and I think that's wonderful for them. And other girls do music or drama or art, and it's not about picking one over the other. It's sort of, how do you make space for both? And
Okay.
as the girls get older, they may meet less frequently, but they're still,
Okay.
you know, keeping
But is
that
there
Girl
still that
Scout thread.
continuity?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a balance.
Okay.
And every family has to decide what's right for them, and, you know, you don't want your child to be overscheduled. So it's just
True.
about, you know.
I don't want to be over.
Exactly. And I do think, you know, some other things have seasons. You know, sports have a season, whereas Girl Scouts can be year-round. So that's a nice opportunity for the girls.
Okay. Cool. So tell me more about the Girl Scout leadership experience. It's an experience.
It is an experience. So it's really, the experience of being a Girl Scout is a collection of challenging, fun, engaging activities.
So like earning the badges?
Sell the badges, you're selling cookies, you're going on awesome trips, potentially overseas or locally, and you're planning for those. You're engaged in science, you're getting outdoors, and then of course a core component of Girl Scouting is community service.
Okay.
So it's all of those things together, and you might be familiar with the way that sort of a platform of how we talk about the Girl Scout experience is the G.I.R.L, which I think you mentioned at the beginning of the program.
Girl.
Exactly. So
Lead like a girl.
Exactly.
Leadership
So that's go-getter, innovator, risk-taker, leader. And through all of her experiences in Girl Scouts, those are the characteristics that we're helping to develop in a girl.
Okay. Now, I have heard criticism in the past about the leader part of that, where not every girl is meant to be a leader.
Right.
So how do those other girls not have a place in scouting, or how can they make the program work for them?
So I think Girl Scouts helps those girls to develop their confidence to become a leader. And that's the part of the point of Girl Scouts is that you can have somebody who's maybe shy, reserved, doesn't feel that she can be a leader. And there's lots of ways to lead and lots of different ways to be a leader. So Girl Scouts, our mission is to help a girl develop her confidence, her character, and her courage, and to make the world a better place. So there's room for every girl. So that still is the motto. Good.
Yes. Because I have that written on a shirt: courage, confidence, character. And I'm like,
oh
no, they changed it to lead like a girl.
So
I need a new shirt.
It's actually really wonderful to see girls who come into the program and start to feel more confident in themselves. You may know this, but girls start to lose their confidence at around age 6.
Oh, great. I thought I was at least good until age 10.
So it's younger and younger, and being in that safe
and
girl-only
peer pressure
space
and like body image is
and social media, and so Girl Scouts can really be an antidote for that.
That's good to know. So speaking of the leadership experience, I'm not sure if we finished this, but encouraging girls to be strong women, and why has Girl Scouts been focused on remaining a girl-only organization?
Sure. So we're sticking to our mission. We really believe in the value of safe, girl-only space. Research shows that it's important to help girls develop their courage, confidence, and character, and it's also what we do best. It's our area of expertise. We've been doing it for over 100 years.
106?
Yep. We're the preeminent girls leadership organization in the world.
Oh, wow.
And, we see that it works. We have some statistics that I would love to share with you around our Girl Scout alum and how being in that girl-only space, you can see the impact.
Okay. Because I'm also thinking, before we get to the statistics, I appreciate the girl-only environment because if you watch the news or you just look out in your community, there's so many different areas of gender bias and gender discrimination. And my daughter this past year in 3rd grade, they did they call a living wax museum, and all the kids had to research a famous person from Massachusetts. And was it Clara Barton and Susan B. Anthony, I think?
Yep.
It said equal pay for equal work. And that was, 150 years ago. And we're still fighting 70 cents per dollar. So it's like the girl-only environment, to me, I see it as a place where girls can become strong women.
Right.
So they are confident in their abilities. So when they go out and face this discrimination, they're like, I don't think so.
Exactly.
So...
Yep.
All right. No,
that's spot on.
So
and
that's
I think,
kind of how I see it.
Absolutely. And I think, so the statistics are completely tied in with that, is around sort of proof of concept around sharing some information about strong women that have come out of the Girl Scout program.
Okay.
So 75% of women in the United States Senate were Girl Scouts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
50% of women in the U.S. House of Representatives, 80% of all female tech leaders, 90%. 80%.
Wow.
90% of female astronauts in all of our female secretaries of state. So I'm really proud to share that.
Yeah,
and I think it just shows
cool.
the value of being in that safe all-girl programming.
Neat.
Yeah.
And also, like you said, self-esteem starts to fail at 6.
Right.
And I am terrified for like the tween years because that's when some girls just decide to get stupid to impress guys.
Right.
And it's like, okay, no.
Right.
And
And they'll stop raising their hands in class if there's boys in the
because
class.
they're afraid of,
Exactly.
you know. Okay. Cool. So the go-getter, innovator, risk-taker, and leader is to develop these positive self-image, courage,
Exactly.
confidence, character. Okay, I wanted to leave on a happy note.
Yes.
Girl Scout cookies.
I love to talk about Girl
Everybody
Scout cookies.
loves Girl Scout cookies.
Yes.
You know, you don't even have to sell them.
You really
just
don't.
say, hey, I know where you can get some Girl Scout cookies. You know, it's like,
Yep.
you know, fill up the back of your car and just, you know, tailgate. Or, you know, they
It's
sell
just-
themselves.
They really do. And people have such a warm spot in their heart for Girl Scout cookies. And like you said, they really do almost sell themselves. They started as a way to finance troop activities in 1917. And
Okay.
at that time, the troops would actually make their own cookies, and they primarily made sugar cookies.
Oh, okay.
And just a little fun historical fact.
The Board of Health got involved. And OSHA.
Exactly. And then it wasn't until the mid-1930s that the Girl Scout National Organization began the process of working with bakers and
okay.
establishing all the
They were
different flavors.
Selling
and
too many cookies.
Exactly. The two most popular cookies in Massachusetts, just to share, is might not be a surprise: Thin Mints and the Caramel Delights. Yes. So
Love Thin Mints.
exactly, and our
Although
girls,
those new s'mores cookies,
they're really
are,
good.
Yeah,
they're
they're going to move up.
They're really good, and they were super popular in their first year. Yes.
Love them.
So they begin selling cookies in December, and this year we're going to have our first ever cookie rally, which we're really excited about, and it's going to be on December 1st at Bentley University in Waltham, and everybody's invited. And we're
Everybody,
gonna
not
have,
just Girl Scouts.
everybody. We're going to have lots of fun activities.
Okay. Will they have cookies to buy?
There will definitely be cookies. I'm certain there will be cookies. And
Can't have a cookie rally without cookies.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. And, you know, just for folks that might not be familiar, the cookie program does help to fund a troop's activities, but it's also part of the programming in terms of teaching financial literacy and other skills. So we like to think of them as 5 essential skills that a girl
there's 5 of them, and I always forget what they are.
So first is goal setting. Second is decision making. Third is money management. Fourth is people skills, and fifth is business ethics. So there
Can we
really
kind of
is
go through those and like talk about a little more about them? Like
absolutely.
the first one's goal setting.
Sure. So a girl learns to set her own individual goal of how many cookies she wants to sell.
Okay.
The troop talks together about what their overall goal is. So if
Okay.
they have, for example, they want to take a trip somewhere, they have to sit down and budget and think about how much money they need and then figure out how many boxes of cookies they need to
okay.
sell. And through that process, they also develop cooperation and teamwork because they have to negotiate around how many boxes they're all going to sell and what's possible.
And also what to do with the money. Well, I want to do this.
Exactly.
No, I want to do
they
this.
have to have a vision for that.
And it's like, well, if you do both, you have to sell this many cookies.
Exactly.
If you decide. Okay.
Exactly. Decision making is in tandem with that, which is deciding how to spend the money,
Okay.
furthering critical skills and problem solving skills. And then money management is a big piece.
Okay.
Taking the orders, handling the money themselves. They're gaining valuable and practical life skills and financial
Okay.
literacy through that whole piece. And then people skills, you're really, you know, we were talking about earlier, you know, maybe a girl comes into the program and is a little bit shy.
Mm-hmm.
She has to work on her sales pitch and how she's going to talk to people, or if the girls are selling at a booth, you know, in front of a grocery store, they
Exactly.
have to determine, they'll make signs, so it's sort of like sales and marketing, and they're talking, you know,
Okay.
they're talking with people. There's a lot of great things that come through that. And then business ethics, being responsible and
Not eating all the profits.
exactly. That's the hardest part, honestly.
I had a cookie mom once that
Yeah.
said, okay, I will help, but you can't put the cookies in my house because I will eat all the
Yeah,
profits.
it's dangerous at cookie time for sure.
But with the cookie booths, you know, you were talking about working
Yep.
on your sales pitch. I think the community is getting wise to that as well, where an individual will walk up. Maybe they're a former Girl Scout, I'm
Right.
not sure, but so what are you going to do with all that money you're raising?
Right, or why should I buy cookies?
Why
and really
should I
have
buy
them,
cookies? Yeah.
Have them tell her, yeah,
So what are you going to do? What have you done as a troop?
exactly.
You know, or what's, you know, tell me which flavor to buy and why, you know.
Exactly.
So it kind of encourages the girls to get more involved instead of
Exactly.
just sitting there at the top of their lungs screaming, cookies!
We actually, in the last year or so, we have a new online platform tool where girls can sell cookies, and they can actually make their own video messages about answering all those questions, why you should buy cookies from me, what my favorite cookies are. It's really easy to do. And then just with a push of a button, with some parental supervision and help, it can go out to friends and family, all over the place.
Neat.
So that's been really popular with our girls and a great way to boost sales as well.
Yeah. And I know shipping's an issue because cookies are expensive to mail.
Yes, we did make some improvements in that in the last year.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, I think if you were ordering cookies, you had to get all the same kind.
Yes.
Which, who wants to get, of course you want to mix and match.
Yeah.
And this past year, we were able to figure it out with the bakers where people could get what they wanted.
Excellent.
So making some improvements, some headway. We also have a cookie locator tool on our website.
Ooh,
in case anybody watching does not have a Girl Scout in their life but would like to buy cookies. You can type in your zip code and it will tell you where girls are selling cookies at booths, so you can go out and get your Thin Mints and your Caramel Delights.
Well, we do have the added benefit where BCAT is a strong supporter of the scouting program in Burlington.
Awesome.
And they will actually, when we figure out all of our local cookie booths, they will put it on their calendar. It's Saturday morning. Do you want some Girl Scout cookies to go with that coffee?
Thank you for doing that. That's great.
Yeah, they are very, very supportive. But it's just the Burlington ones.
Right.
Because we don't have access to other towns. Plus, we want to keep our business in town.
Exactly. Support the girls in Burlington.
So we talked about cookie sales.
Yes.
And we talked about the mission of Girl Scouts to be community service.
Yes.
Can we talk about Cookies for a Cause?
Yes. I love to talk about Cookies for a Cause. It's one of my favorite programs that we have. It is completely voluntary.
Okay.
But basically, girls and their troops have the option of donating cookies back to our troops, the military, and also first responders.
Oh,
and
okay.
customers,
First responders as well.
Customers can either directly, if they're doing an order card with a girl, or at a booth, they can say, you know what, I'm going to take some home for myself, but I also would like to donate 5 packages to the military. And then towards the end of our cookie season, the girls will gather all of those cookies together at Hanscom Air Force Base and package them up. It's very emotional, and it's
really cool.
It's really, really
cool.
cool.
Of cookies.
And it's just so nice and heartwarming because, our service people have that warm affiliation with Girl Scout cookies, and it reminds them of home, and we're able to deliver it to them. So it's a really great program.
I always like it too because it's the opportunity for the girls to see where their cookies are going. Because if it's just a check on
it's not concrete for them.
Exactly.
Yes.
But actually going there and interacting, and they also make little thank you cards for the service men and women to go with the cookies, which is really neat.
So it's heartwarming, and it's definitely one of my favorite things that we do.
And not only is it heartwarming, it's also warming because this past year you moved it to April or May.
It was definitely
because I remember going in the snow.
You're absolutely right.
And
yes.
I'm like, okay, it's 30 degrees out, it's snowing. Why am I here?
Yes, we lucked out with the weather.
One year it was like
timing. Yes.
8 degrees with a wind chill of negative 20. I'm like, here are your cookies, bye.
Yeah, we definitely, I don't know if the date got shifted or we just lucked out with the weather, but it was definitely
I think it was shifted like a month or two later, and it was still cold, but at least it wasn't snowing.
Compared to the other dates, yes.
So, okay, how successful has this cookie program been? I mean, we've talked about how the cookies pretty much sell themselves, but I don't know, do you have like statistics or anything? Because I know at the last Cookies for a Cause, they listed some statistics that just completely blew me away.
So this past year, girls in Eastern Massachusetts sold 2.1 million boxes of cookies.
That's a lot of cookies. That's a lot of sugar.
And then I brought some statistics around Burlington.
Okay. Good. Yay.
So we had 22 troops with 230 girls and 109 volunteers, and they sold 17,000 packages of cookies.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive.
That is really impressive.
Yes. So.
And my daughter played a role.
So great participation in Burlington.
Played a role too.
Yes.
Now I have roles to show. So, okay, we talked about Cookies for a Cause program. Can we talk about some of the awards and achievements? I mean, yes, it's cool seeing your cookies going to a servicewoman, you know, concrete, but okay, they also might get a stuffed toy. But I mean, what are the other achievements that the girls see through participation in the cookie program?
Sure. So I think one of the bigger ones is around planning for something.
Okay.
Because it gets back to really having a vision of what they want to do with the funds that they're earning.
Okay.
And it could be a trip, but it could be something like they go through, we have what's called an Ultimate Guide program book.
Love that.
And the girls have a lot of fun with that with their troop leaders.
Okay.
Going through and saying, oh, I'd really love to go horseback riding, or I'd really love to go do our low ropes or our high ropes or our archery.
Archery was a big one in my group.
And, figuring out,
I even had a poor little girl that was left-handed. So she had to get pulled aside, and she got a private lesson.
Okay, good. So anyways, just really thinking through what looks exciting to do, and then going through the list saying, okay, well, what are we going to agree on? And it's that, negotiating and working as a team, and then having a goal that if we sell these cookies, we can do it. And then that excitement of achieving.
What happens if you don't?
Well, you know what? That's a life lesson too.
That's true.
And then you talk about, okay, well, we didn't raise the money to go horseback riding, but we have this amount of funds, so let's go back through the program book and figure out what we're going to do. And it might motivate for next time talking through, what else could we do? What could we do differently?
Let's do another cookie book. Yeah, because I noticed, my troop in particular, our sales dropped from 2 years ago to this past year. And it's like, okay, what did we do differently this year? We had the same number of girls, and the same girls.
Right. I don't know. I think, part of the program is you said it is easy to sell and everybody loves cookies, but also for the girls, it's so easy to sell to grandma and grandpa or, people they know really well. Right. But where they really get out of their comfort zone is when, with adult supervision, of course, but they're selling to people that they don't know, and they have to make the case, and that's part of the benefit of being in the program. And our national CEO, Sylvia Acevedo, tells a story about when she grew up as a Girl Scout, and her troop leader told her that she always had to get told no 3 times before she could leave the point of sale. Oh. And she tells a really funny story. The point of
sale? Like one person?
So, yes, and she was really nervous about it.
Yeah, I'd be nervous about that.
She said she went to the door and she asked the woman if she'd be interested in buying Girl Scout cookies, and the woman said no. And then she said, is there anyone else at home? And the woman said no. And then she said, well, is there anyone whose day you would brighten if you bought them a box of Girl Scout cookies? And she said, okay, I'll take a box. And she said,
I like that.
She probably just took the box to get rid of me, but it really instilled that lesson of, perseverance and don't give up.
How would you like to make someone's day?
Yeah. So I thought that was a great story.
I might have to borrow that. That is really cool.
Yeah.
So that would probably turn into her sales pitch for the entire sale.
Yeah, she's like, that worked, and there she goes, yeah.
So every year, I know this isn't on the cheat sheet, but every year the cookie sale has a mascot. And how is it chosen, and are you allowed to tell me what this coming year's
So it's voted on by the girls.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to share that or not. I'm looking at...
Can we share it?
You'll
have to buy cookies to find out.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't want to get myself into trouble. So the new mascot?
that can be shared.
We can share it? Oh, good. Okay. So it's going to be a narwhal.
Ooh, I've never heard of a narwhal before.
Yes, that magical creature.
The unicorn of the sea.
Exactly. So
how is that chosen?
They survey the girls and they ask them, what do you think would be the coolest?
Now, does it
incentive.
Start as a choice of 5, or is it just a free for all?
I don't know.
Because I'm waiting for some girl to say armadillo would be really cool,
I know, and the interests vary greatly. That's a great question. I actually don't know if it starts out, wide open, or if they say, of these 3, which one would you like most to have?
Because I remember seeing at least the point where it was narrowed down to 3.
Yeah.
And I don't think I actually liked the narwhal. I guess I got voted down.
There were some other ones, yeah.
Is there a ladybug or something?
That sounds right.
I don't know. I thought that would have been cool. But anyway, And then girls get, added incentives like keychains and T-shirts to
Yes.
show off, hey, I'm a good. Now, there was, and again, we'll have to check with our off-camera assistant. There was a national push this past year for, I don't know if it was top seller or what it was called, but if you wrote down some kind of essay, you could be chosen for a, New York City trip with your face on the next cookie box.
Yes.
Has that been determined yet?
I don't think they've announced the winners.
Okay.
But
'Cause I was just wondering if anybody from Eastern Mass.
I certainly hope so.
That would be cool.
And I think it's such a creative, cool idea to
Now, how
feature the
often-
girls and their stories on the box. So
Do you know how often they redo the boxes?
I don't know for sure. It feels like to me pretty regularly.
Okay.
But I thought this was a great idea to actually feature the girls on the box.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Well, there are always
And their
girls on the box,
stories.
but it's
Yeah,
like, okay,
but
who
their
are these
stories. Yeah, exactly.
people? Neat.
Yeah.
Now, just for audience members,
Yes.
I know we're talking about cookies again. We're going to get hungry. There have always been some debate about how come some areas it's called a caramel delight and sometimes it's called Samoa. I have a cheat sheet of
Yes.
this. So how come, there's the tagalongs and Samoas and the do-si-dos, and then we have caramel delights and peanut butter sandwiches and
It's a great question. Right now in the United States, there are 2 bakers
Okay.
that make Girl Scout cookies.
okay.
And the councils that are with one baker have one set list of names.
Okay.
And the other one, I don't know why it ever happened that they were different. I think
Yeah.
one's a peanut butter sandwich and one is
Well, they both have peanut butter sandwiches.
yeah, but there's just
Okay.
different names.
Yeah.
And actually, if you do a taste test, sometimes the same cookie tastes a little bit different. I've actually heard you mention the s'mores that are relatively new.
Yeah.
The recipe is slightly different between the 2 bakers.
Okay. I thought they had like 2 totally different cookies.
And the other baker's s'more apparently just tastes a little bit different. So it is interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if over time they might work on having a little bit more consistency.
Yeah.
But for now, yes, there are 2 different names for a similar cookie.
Because I get, my daughter gets calls from friends. Yeah, you ordered me up some do-si-dos. I'm like, what's a do-si-do?
Right.
Got to go to the cheat sheet.
Right.
Okay, show me pictures.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So I've been talking a lot about myself being involved in Girl Scouts. What are some of the opportunities for adults to be involved? Do they have to be a leader, or what other opportunities do adults have, and do they have to be girls
Thank
or
you.
women?
Thank you for asking. There are so many ways to get engaged as a volunteer with Girl Scouts. And no, you do not have to be a woman. We do a background check, and there is an application process because we want to make sure that we keep our girls safe.
Understood.
And you can be a troop leader, you can be a co-leader. You can also sign up to be a volunteer for your daughter's troop, meaning that you're going to help out in some ways, but you're not the overall lead. So
Okay.
if you go on a field trip, you're going to help with, bring the girls safely on a field trip, transportation, exactly. You might have a special skill that you want to come in and work with the girls on.
Like a
one of their
mechanical
badges.
engineering badge.
Exactly.
Okay.
We also have our service unit leadership, which they play a key role in our communities, and they help to organize and oversee all of Girl Scouting in their community, and they work closely with my team, our volunteer support team, and they're incredibly valuable
Because right now, at least in Burlington, everybody involved in the service unit happens to be a Girl Scout leader. So you don't.
But you don't have to be.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
you could be. I think many service unit leadership volunteers are involved with the troop, but you don't have to. We also have volunteer training facilitators to help onboard and mentor new troop leaders, get them into the fold and the mix. So there's just lots of ways to get involved.
Cool.
And we certainly welcome.
Now, to be a volunteer, do you also have to register as a Girl Scout?
You do.
And,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And get Cory checked, and that's renewable every year?
You need to get it renewed every 3 years.
Okay.
Yes.
And how would someone go about becoming a Girl Scout? Either a Girl Scout or a parent or adult volunteer?
So please check out our website.
Wait, there's more.
GSEMA, which stands for Girl Scouts of Eastern Mass, and there's an opportunity on there that you can click on to get involved.
GSEMA.org.
Yes, and we also on our website. I don't have it in front of me, but we have a phone number.
Okay. Oh wait, I think
you
I
may
do.
have that
somewhere on my page. 844.
Yes,
306 GSEM.
you got it.
And if you are like me and hate phone numbers that spell things, you can also call, which is the same thing,
Yes.
844-306-4736.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool. And in your experience, we still
Yes.
have some time left.
Yes.
So are there any stories? What is your favorite? You grew up as a Girl Scout.
Yes.
What is the most valuable thing that you have seen or witnessed either as a Girl Scout or as a leader of your daughter's troops?
Sure. So growing up as a Girl Scout in Walpole, there was a really robust Girl Scout program, and we actually had a Girl Scout house. And
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
My memories are really of pushing me outside of things that I would have done with my family.
Okay.
And around cooking over an outdoor fire. So, my family wasn't really an outdoorsy family.
Yeah, I'm not.
So that was a huge value for me to get me outdoors, and we would go out into the woods and we would go on hiking expeditions or scavenger hunts, and it got me much more comfortable and excited about being in
Cool.
nature.
Okay.
And I think about that as still being relevant now with my own daughters around how much screen time the kids have. And getting the kids,
Okay.
the girls outdoors and valuing nature, and that ties in with some of our.
Now, how do you balance the safety of the girls? I mean, you just can't say, okay, go out and play in the woods for an hour, like
Yep.
we could when,
Right.
or I could when I was
It's
a kid.
a different. It's definitely a different
Just
era.
stay with a buddy.
But we have training for all of our troop leaders and adults.
Okay.
And for example, if you're going overnight camping, we have a tent training.
Okay.
Because even if you yourself have gone camping, it's different than taking a group of girls out camping. So we have specialized training for that,
Okay.
and the training is delivered by people who are also troop leaders. So they have
Okay.
that, inside knowledge, and it can be anything from getting the tent set up and starting a fire to meal preparation and some tips and tricks to make it easier. We also offer kit rentals at our campsites to make it easier. Yes.
Finding out about those. Those are really cool.
So you can
like
just show up and get your pots and pans
geocaching
and fun activities. Exactly. So that's definitely a great memory. And I think another memory that I have is Girl Scout songs and just how much fun that is. And when I hear, I was out at Maud Eaton last week.
Do you think the tradition of Girl Scout songs is kind of drifting away?
I think it's still very much happening,
Okay.
especially on during our camp programs.
Okay.
So I was at Maud Eaton in Andover last week, and on
Okay.
Fridays they do a closing ceremony. And the girls by age level have a chance to either do a song or a skit. Some of them
Okay.
did a skit, some of them did songs. And it was so wonderful to look around the parents who were watching. The girls would sing a song, and you could just tell that their mom remembered
Okay.
singing that song as a girl, and myself too. It was really it was nice. Yeah.
Because I remember, just recently, for bridging this year, my
Yep.
girls were going from brownies to juniors. So the bridging ceremony, or not even the ceremony, but the bridging requirements is kind of connecting the past with the future. So they
Yes.
have to work with a younger troop,
Right.
such as Daisies, and work with an older troop to kind of teach something that to the future generation, but learn something from the older girls. And the other troop that we got together with had an older leader. She just was recognized for 50 years involved in Girl Scouts,
Wow.
which is incredible.
Yes.
And she was singing some songs, and I'm like, I don't remember these. And how do I learn about these? And I want to find out more, but to me, it feels like the tradition's getting lost.
Huh.
And how do you find out? Is it just going to camp, or are they available online?
So we actually have our volunteer conference in November.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's on the schedule for this year, but last year we had a couple sessions that were all around Girl Scout
Songs
games and
and
songs.
games. Yes, I went to that one.
So that's certainly one
And
way.
I stole a
Yes.
couple of, well, I didn't steal, I
Yeah.
continued the tradition.
Yes. And you know, it's a great point though, because we're working on getting more and more things online. We have a Lead Online tool for our volunteers, because we got feedback. We have volunteers from many different generations that are still involved. You mentioned somebody just celebrated 50 years of service, and then we also have somebody who has a new Daisy and it's a first-time experience. And what I've heard loud and clear, and our team has heard loud and clear, is they need more than one way to learn and more than one way to be communicated with. What works for one person doesn't work for another person. So some people like to get a text, some people like an email, some people like in-person training, some people want to just go online from their kitchen table on their laptop. So we're really trying to evolve to be more volunteer-centric. And this Lead Online tool, we just launched it last year.
Oh, cool.
It's really, we're really excited about it. But you're just giving me an idea that maybe we could put some of our songs on there, like a toolbox. If they're not already on there, our wonderful person who manages it keeps adding new modules and things every day. So I'll check in with her.
Because we also talked about trying to keep the girls interested. Well, a lot of the parents are pulled in so many different directions. So it's kind of nice saying, okay, at 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night after my kids go to bed, I can watch a training as opposed to
having to drive somewhere
or give up my Saturday when I'm already conflicted with, coaching soccer or whatever. So anyway, believe it, but we are actually out of time.
Oh wow, that flew by.
Went by really quickly. So I want to thank you so much for coming on. You've gotten me really jazzed up for the coming year of Girl Scouts. Got my new book right here,
That's awesome.
a guidebook that I have to check out.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be here.
And I'm looking forward. We can do so much more together. This is really excellent. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I also want to thank everyone at home for tuning in this evening and finding more about what it takes to be a G.I.R.L. Can we say girl? Or is it just girl? You have to spell it. Anyway, how to lead like a girl and more about the Girl Scout program. And I hope that you enjoyed our conversation as much as I did. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you around town. Good night.